You're not my dad!
What up, Hope Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. I have been watching Downton Abbey. Okay, so like maybe watching is like a really generous term. I've been fast forwarding my way through Downton Abbey and also Game of Thrones. It's not my fault, okay? The episodes are just really long and there's like parts of the story that I actually don't care about. Like, show me the good stuff. Show me what I actually care about, okay? I want to see Mr. Bates and Miss Anna be together and happy finally. So how does that happen? Show me how that happens, because that is what I fucking care about, okay? I don't care about what Jon Snow is doing on the other side of the wall, okay? Show me Daenerys. Show me Tyrion. Fuck Sansa, okay? I don't give a fuck about that hoe. That bitch was dumb, and it's basically her fault this whole thing happened in the first fucking place. But I digress. I have been watching Downton Abbey and I realized that they like definitely had better memories than we do, okay? This generation, garbage memory. We can look somebody directly in the face that we know and not know their fucking name. Like, it's on the tip of our tongue, but we don't know that shit. Be honest. Be honest. You're good with faces, but you're not good with names. Be honest about that, okay? But back then, they knew who people were merely by who they were associated with and what they were wearing. They didn't even see people's faces. They didn't even know their faces, but they knew that such and such was a great godson of such and such and such and such, and he was married to such and such. Like, they had excellent memories simply based on lineage. And I just feel like that's really fucking impressive. Like, yeah, y'all was out here dying of consumption, okay? But your mind was like a steel fucking trap, okay? And I support that. I feel like that's valid. Anti-Husin, that is basically almost entirely unrelated to what we are watching today. Today, we are here to watch some overly sarcastic productions. It's been a while since I've been here, so welcome back. This video is called Fables and Folktales Prince Lindworm. I have literally never heard of this fable and or folktale in my life, but I am ready and I am excited. So, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
There's something very modular about fairy tales. The individual building blocks are firmly established and don't tend to change. It's just the way they're arranged that makes a story unique. You got dashing princes, beautiful princesses, questing knights, benevolent kings and queens, evil magic people, good magic people, heroic peasants, cruel step-parents, clever tricksters, talking animals, dragons, trolls, the works. Spin a few wheels and throw a few darts and out pops a fairy tale. A frog prince, yes. A dashing prince, is cursed by an evil witch to become a friendly talking animal until he is saved by a beautiful princess. It's pretty telling that most of these stories don't even bother to name the characters.
Ever.
The role they film matters a lot
ever.
more than their actual individual character. But despite how basic the archetypes are, the stories they slot into can still be really unique. And while most of us have a passing knowledge of the big names like Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel, and anything Disney ever monetized, there's a lot of really neat stuff out there that doesn't get the same kind of press. So today let's talk about a bite-sized Norwegian fairy tale with dashing princes, heroic peasants, and at least one dragon. Our story begins with a benevolent king and queen who are regrettably also pulling duty as a tragic childless couple. The queen is pretty bummed out about that whole situation and is out for a walk sublimating her feelings about it when she stumbles on a mysterious old woman who happens to be a witch. The lady asks her what's wrong, and when the queen fills her in on the no kids cradle empty situation, she gives her some cryptic advice, telling the queen to take a two-handled jug and put it upside down in the corner of her garden overnight. The next morning, 2 roses will have grown under it, one red and one white. The queen should choose one rose to eat, red if she wants a son, white for a daughter, but under no circumstances should she eat both. The queen heads home and takes her advice, not really expecting all that much, but the next day she finds that surprisingly, the witch was right on the money and the roses have really grown. She agonizes for a bit over which one to eat, reasoning that a son might eventually need to go off to war, but a daughter will have to marry some foreign lord eventually, and either way she'll lose the kids someday. Geez, way to be a downer about this magical baby situation.
Lady.
Anyway, after a few minutes of dithering, she settles on the white one, but the rose turns out to be super delicious and nutritious, so she ignores the warning and eats the other one too, denying the
Bitch, you only had one job. 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 Eat one rose, not both roses. Like, hello? Ma'am. You clearly did not want a baby that fucking bad. Obviously.
Explicit orders of a witch in a fairy tale? What could possibly go wrong? 9 months pass, and while the king is out warring, the queen gives birth to twins. One healthy baby boy, and one Lindworm, aka a dragon. Ah, those magical pre-ultrasound days where every pregnancy was a surprise. Anyway, the Lindworm skedaddles out of there real quick, and the queen's like, well, hope that was a hallucination, and just doesn't bring it up ever.
What do you mean?
Neato. So, years pass, and the dashing prince grows to be a very fine young man, and eventually he's sent off to find a suitably beautiful princess to be his bride. But when he tries to leave the kingdom, the road is blocked by a massive Lindworm that tells him a bride for me before a bride for you. The prince heads back, thoroughly confused, and the queen confesses that the Lindworm is actually right on the money. Technically, he was born first, making him the older brother, so he kind of has to get married first. So the king starts contacting far-off kingdoms to ask for a bride for his son, though he doesn't say which son. And when the requisite beautiful princess arrives, a lavish wedding is held, and she's married off to the Lindworm, who promptly eats her. The Lindworm still demands a bride, since evidently devouring the bride
He ate her? What?
on the wedding night means the wedding doesn't count, so the king writes to a different kingdom, gets a second beautiful princess shipped over, and the exact same thing happens. Now, never let it be said that these benevolent royals can't learn from their mistakes. The king's not too eager to make an enemy of a third kingdom, so instead he goes to his royal shepherd and tells him his beloved and conveniently expendable daughter is going to marry the Lindworm whether she wants to or not. It's always so lovely to see a ruler who really goes the extra mile to connect to his people like that. Now, the heroic peasant girl obviously doesn't want to get eaten, so she does what any self-respecting protagonist would. She goes for a walk in the spooky woods, lamenting her doom until a mysterious old woman who happens to be a witch pops out of the woodwork to ask her what's wrong. The shepherdess fills her in on the situation, and the witch gives her some very specific instructions on how she can survive her wedding night. The wedding day arrives, lavish party, beautiful bride, commendably scaly groom, etc., etc. But that night, following the witch's advice, the shepherdess has the castle staff bring her a few things. She layers on 10 dresses, preps 2 basins of lye and milk, and gets ready for some fairy tale shenanigans. When the Lindworm tells her to ditch the dress, she tells him to lose a skin. He's a bit thrown by this request, but agrees. But after he sheds the skin, surprise, she's got another dress on. Guess you better lose another skin if you want a piece of this. They repeat the process several times, and by the time the shepherdess is down to her last dress, the Lindworm is in pretty rough shape. This is when the plan enters phase 2. Following the witch's instructions to the letter, the shepherdess grabs a whip, which I guess the castle staff just assumed was for totally kosher bedroom fun times, dips it in the lye, and whacks the Lindworm with it. Then she dumps the milk over him, and then, possibly most surprisingly, she hugs him. The next day, the staff are shocked to discover that the shepherdess is not only alive, but cuddling up to a very handsome, dashing prince. With the Lindworm officially freed from his cursed existence by being quite literally whipped into shape, the kingdom is overjoyed and the wedding is held all over again, this time with feeling. The prince and the shepherdess are happily married for real this time, and everyone lives happily ever after, except for those 2 princesses who had
I was gonna say,
Sorry, ladies.
These bitches got ate up. Literally. That's messed up.
But someone's got to pay the price for the rule of 3.
Wake me up!
Wake me up inside,
Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark. Bid my blood to run before I come undone. Save me from this nothing I've become. I actually really enjoyed that folktale. I have these books. They're so freaking old. They're literally falling apart. I want to say they're from like the 1920s, maybe earlier. But it's like the red fairy book, the blue fairy book, the orange fairy book, and I have like all of the colors. I think I might be missing one color. I think that one did get actually like just fall apart from the move or whatever. But there are so many fairy tales in there, and you can see in like each one where the seeds of like the classic fairy tales that we've come to know and love, like you can see where those grew from. And then also you can see how gruesome so many fairy tales are. Like this one, those 2 girls got fucking eaten. Like, they got eaten. No ifs, ands, or buts. No, like, maybe they actually just got hidden away. Blah, blah. Like, no. They actually got eaten. And then he had to peel his skin off. He had to peel off his own skin. And then she poured lye on him. Or she didn't pour lye on him. She whipped him with a whip coated in lye. Do you guys know what lye is? Like, gory, gruesome, awful, but also just so much more fun than like the cute little fairy tales that come to us wrapped in a little Disney bow, you know? Mickey needs to Miska Muska his way into some better fucking storytelling, okay? That was bad. That was terrible. I shouldn't leave it in, but I'm going to. Antihusin, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out, Hope Biscuits. It's skittin' lit.